What's up, Taurus, Sun, and Scorpio Moon Tribe? Welcome to your Sun and Moon. I'm super excited for your share. Although this is the second time I'm recording, because the first time I uploaded your video, it didn't save properly, so I only had half of the footage. So I'm doing this for the second time, but that's not a problem. It's all good. And I'm super excited. Like I said, Taurus, Sun, and Scorpio Moon. This is real strong, powerful energy. Now, I do want to mention that I have 3 videos on the sun and moon that I would recommend you watching before you watch this, because I'll give you a better understanding of what the sun and moon mean in your chart. And I'll link those videos down below. I have a video on what the sun means in astrology, what the moon means in astrology, and the sun versus the moon. And also remember that everyone's sun and moon are unique. They're going to be in their own houses, making their own aspects, and no 2 birth charts are the same. And to really understand what the sun and the moon mean for you, you have to look at everything that is going on in your chart. Now, Taurus Sun and Scorpio Moon, these are opposite signs. And to find out if you are born under the full moon, look at the Scorpio full moon on the year you were born and what degree that full moon was at. Were you born before the full moon or on the full moon? And that will be very significant if you are born under the full moon, because this lifetime will be about culmination and completion for you. And in order to get to culmination and completion, there is a lot of purging, a lot of balancing, and a lot of letting go and releasing that is required, especially when you got the full moon in Scorpio. So this is going to be a very powerful lifetime for you when you're looking at this esoterically. So I want to start off with the sun. Now, the sun, wherever it is in your chart, that is the area of your life that is under the spotlight, and everything revolves around it. But then opposite to the sun, you got the moon, which is the darkness. But when you got the sun in Taurus and the moon in Scorpio, because they're opposite signs, they are so intertwined and so connected, and they can often be in a battle against each other because they're both fixed signs. They're both very powerful and very strong-headed, and it almost feels like you're in the middle and you got the sun on one hand and the moon on the other, and you're trying to balance them, but you can't because they're so strong. Now, although that's the challenge, that is also the end goal. The end goal is to find your equilibrium, to find your balance as a Taurus sun and a Scorpio moon. And the Taurus sun, it shines, and what it wants and what makes it feel good is when it is stable and secure and comfortable and is enjoying this beautiful earth experience. It's all about the 5 senses for you too: pleasure, balance, feeling grounded, feeling secure financially, and in your relationships. There's a huge emphasis on relationships for you in this lifetime. Now, traditionally and in modern astrology, Venus is the ruler of the sign Taurus, but esoterically, the planet Vulcan, or Vulcan, however you want to pronounce it, is the sole ruler of the sign Taurus. And Vulcan is the god of fire. In Greek mythology, he is the husband of Aphrodite, and his name is Hephaestus. I always butcher his name. And he is a god of fire, god of forges. He's also an alchemist, and he has a lot of similarities with that Scorpio energy, which I'll get to. So although you're known as this earth sign, there is that fire within you that only really unleashes when you are tested or when you are triggered. But on an everyday basis, your emotions and just your energy, it goes up and down with the flow, with the phases of the moon. Because on one hand, like I said, you got the sun in Taurus and then the moon in Scorpio, and you're in the middle and you're trying to balance both of these energies out. You have to be the Libra scales. And the moon in Scorpio contradicts all that the Taurus needs and feels, because the Scorpio moon is the darkness. It doesn't feel comfortable. It doesn't feel stable at times. It doesn't feel secure. It has so many emotions and so many intensities. And it is always, searching for the deeper meaning of life and truth, and always diving into the depths, into the darkness, into the underworld, which is completely opposite to the Taurus sun. And that's why they're opposite signs. So sometimes perhaps you're like, hang on a minute, who even am I? Because I have so many different emotions, and it's always like up and down with me. One minute I'm cool, I'm grounded, but then that moon will trigger me. Then that moon will creep up, and I just feel so deeply and I'm so in my feelings and I feel so uncomfortable, and I don't like feeling uncomfortable because my Taurus sun wants me to feel grounded and stable. But the bottom line is that what you need in life is stability. Like your moon in Scorpio, although it's not grounded, it's water, right? It's fixed water. So it just flows and it feels and it just moves and it shifts. But because you have the sun in Taurus and the moon in Scorpio, it is about stabilizing both the sun and the moon. Your moon needs stability and security. It needs everything that the Taurus sun has. So you have to be that alchemist, like the Scorpio energy, like also Vulcan, and use that Taurus energy and nurture the moon. Nurture the moon. You have to shapeshift between the two. When they try to outbalance one another, shapeshift between the two and be that Libra scales. You have to make your moon feel safe and stable and secure. Perhaps you're very concerned with this earth life and like the practical matters and also relationships. And speaking of relationships, you have to be with someone who is grounding for you. Grounding for your Scorpio moon makes your moon feel at home and safe and comfortable and gives you that reassurance. Both Taurus and Scorpio, they're fixed signs. Therefore, they are very committed and very loyal, and they need somebody who has the same qualities, has the same traits, and views relationships in a very similar way. You have very strong expectations in relationships too. And you need a relationship that is healthy for you and your emotions, that gives you stability, that gives you reassurance, that gives you that commitment that you're looking for. And that pleases you in all forms, because you got the sun in Taurus and you got the moon in Scorpio. So, your sex life is going to be very important to you. And your emotional life is going to be also very, just your entire life, the earth aspect of it, the emotional aspect of it, the spiritual aspect of it, you name it. And for you, it's important to have friends in your life, just relationships in your life that make you feel safe at home and are healthy for your moon. So earth signs will be really good for you. You will share that similarity because you have the sun in Taurus, but then they will also be very healing for your moon, your Scorpio moon. Now, I want to touch up on Vulcan, the planet Vulcan, and the Greek equivalent would be Hephaestus, or as I like to say, Hephaestus, because it's so much more easier for me to say. Now, he was known as the god of fire, the god of forges, and the god of volcanoes. And he was the husband of Aphrodite. However, Aphrodite didn't marry him by choice. She was actually forced to marry him. And she didn't enjoy being with him. She had other passionate affairs, and you'll know if you know your Greek mythology, she was having a passionate affair with Ares. And then when Hephaestus found out, he and Aphrodite went their separate ways. However, there is that theme, that issue of wanting a stable, committed relationship and wanting to be unconditionally loved and fulfilled. Yet there's that fear of either abandonment, rejection, or someone like cheating on you and not staying committed and loyal to you. And that's a fear that you have to heal and overcome so that you don't stay in the dark with those fears and those paranoias or any past traumas and experiences. You have to heal that, because for you, commitment, loyalty is so important in relationships, as it is for everyone. But because you have the sun in Taurus and the moon in Scorpio, stability, feeling secure and stable and fulfilled is just like your goal, your mission here on earth. Like you have to fulfill that. And it starts with giving yourself all that commitment and all that love and all that nurturing that your heart desires. Once you give yourself all that love, that's when you're able to share it with someone else. And you're going to attract someone who has those qualities and traits too. So wherever that Taurus and Scorpio axis is in your chart, you have to be that yin and the yang. You got to be the Libra scales. You got to balance that axis out. The Scorpio moon will contradict that Taurus sun. It will trigger that Taurus sun too. And that's when your emotions can really erupt and you can become that god of fire. You can become that god of volcanoes, but you got to find your happy place. You got to find your equilibrium, what brings you back to earth. You got to tap into that Taurus energy when you feel like, oh my goodness, my emotions are so intense, I'm all over the place. It's about the balance. And there's also a need to let go of the fears, let go of attachments. Yes, attachments. You got to let go of anything you're attached to materially, financially, even in relationships. You got to watch out for being overly possessive or controlling because of your fears. You got to let all that go. You got to let go of those attachments. You got to let go of those labels as well. You gotta let go and purge in this lifetime so you can really find spiritual freedom. So Taurus Sun and Scorpio Moon, I hope you enjoy this little share. If you did, give this video a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you in another share. Lots of love.